Good morning, you guys. Welcome back once again to the channel, Drawing with Mike. Today, we are continuing on our quest to learn some of the nuances and details regarding this process we call drawing. Drawing from imagination, drawing from, drawing from reference, all of these things is the process that we as artists utilize to accomplish our goals. So as you see, I'm doing my morning first pass, as I like to say. Okay, so that's done. So basically what I wanted to iterate today, we've already gone over thinking three-dimensionally. We've already gone over some line weight. We've already gone over variation of line. Variation of line, as I discussed before, that overlapping of images, the image in the front or the object in the front has a thicker line outline. Now, this is primarily focused on line. So what I need to do today is, I know you guys have seen me as well as some other people do these, you'll start out with a circle, and then you'll have this center line that comes down, and then you'll have this other line that comes here. These are construction lines. For those of you who don't know this particular method, this construction method, it is based on a principle of understanding forms. You build up your forms, and that's how you are able to draw three-dimensionally. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm basically going to show you kind of a methodology of drawing a head using this particular method. This is the primary method that I use for drawing faces and stuff like that, because it allows me to get a better understanding and gauge of perspective and form and weight and everything of the face. You know, we can get into all the logistics regarding placement of eyes, and we might do that later on. But right now, I just want to get you guys into drawing a head that has some type of three-dimensional look to it. So if you watched, I started out with my circle, okay, pretty simple, started out with my circle, and then what I did basically is I went in and I wanted to determine where the front of the face is. So if I start out, again, with my circle here, okay, and I want it to look straight at me, this is going to be looking straight at you. I'm going to draw my center line, okay, right down the center of that circle. If I'm going to do the same thing and I'm going to have him looking this direction, still looking forward, I'm going to draw that line down here. Okay, it's going to come right to the top of the head. And again, I'm not worried about the shape of the skull right now. I'm not doing any of that. Right here. So this is going to be somewhere, this is going to be probably the center where the top of the nose is, the top of the nose bridge. So then if I wanted him looking up in this direction, I'm going to draw it over here. And then, since it's a round shape, remember we're always thinking three-dimensionally, I'm going to draw this line here, and I'm going to determine exactly where the center, right in the center between the eyes, right above the nose, right there. So let's do this. So let's go back to my original one. So that's what I did. I drew my center line here, all the way down the center of the face. So this acts as a guide. I talked about guide lines. This acts as a guide. It's going to go right here, right around here, depending on if I want him looking this way, if I want him looking down, or if I want him looking up. So I'm going to probably have him, let's do this, right about here. He's going to be facing this direction, okay? And here is the very front of his face. Here's the side with the cheekbone. Here's the other side. And you see how this is starting to kind of come about? And again, I'm looking at the head and I'm thinking, okay, I need to elongate that back a little bit because I know the way that skulls are shaped. And just so you guys understand, the way that you're able to do stuff like this has to do with repetition. It has to do with building up that library in your head. You have to build up the library in your head, because if you don't, you're not going to have anything to access whenever you go to draw from imagination. So looking at skulls for a very long time, I have basically worked out kind of a, it's not a formula. It's kind of it's a mental picture inside my head of exactly where the bone structure is, where the eye sockets are, okay? And here's the, now of course this is gonna be cartoony, and you know, I'm not really drawing very realistically. Here's the bottom, and you have this thing that comes down here, and the bottom of the jaw kind of curves like this, and here's the back of the jaw, and here's your teeth, okay? This comes out like this, and again, it's really rough. So you're gonna get a basic idea, and this, you know, the top of the eye comes out like this. Here's your cheekbone, okay? Here's the head. And again, measuring out certain aspects of the skull. And here's the, where that cheek comes out, and it comes around here. Here. You have these, bridge comes up, and then it comes out, and it comes around. So, looking at this, it is a very crude skull. But the basics, and you have your spine comes right here. Okay, you basically get an understanding. And if you notice what I'm doing, just to get an understanding of where things are placed on a human skull, this line right here, again, we're going to look at this line. Here's that line, that construction line here, comes right here, and here's where your eyes are going to be. Here's where the nose is. The nose comes out. There's an artist that I follow. His name is Aaron Blaise. He's a very good, incredible illustrator, artist, director, animator, been Disney animator for, you know, almost 30 years, and now he's a teacher online. He's got his own thing going on, creatureartteacher.com. You need to go in, you need to look at some of his stuff. His stuff is absolutely phenomenal. And he's a very good teacher. He teaches things about the human skull, about animals, and you have to know this structure to be able to do this, because a lot of what makes us relate to characters has to do with the ability for that particular creature or thing to be in the real world. Here's the line that comes down, okay? So you basically understand, you know, here's the 3/4 view in the real world. So let's go back here to what I was showing you guys. Okay. Oh. You ever notice sometimes that computers are always updating? It's just so, PCs are just ridiculous sometimes. I'm looking at reference right now of Abraham Lincoln. I'm going to be doing some Abraham Lincoln stuff here soon. So I went to Madame Tussauds Wax Museum, and I took pictures of a ton of the characters. Anyway, so we're going to do a really quick thing of Abraham Lincoln. So the basics are here. The basics being, I've got my basic skulls. You know, here's the skull, the eye socket. You know, here's the back of the head. Here's where the jawline's going to go. Here's the neck. I'll make sure and give him a nice bow tie. Okay, so Drawing the face. Now, whenever you do caricatures, caricatures are what are known as like a satirical. You're satirizing somebody's face. You're elongating and expanding and minimalizing their features. And you know, if they have a big nose, then you're going to make them have a giant nose. But it all has to do with the character too. You have to understand the character. Oh gosh, I got that glare again. Understand the character of who you're drawing, so that way, you know, it makes sense. So again, here we are. We drew our circle. We've established our skull. We've done our line here to understand where the center part of the eyes are located, okay? It's a 3/4 view, so he's going to be facing this way. This is the way his face is pointing. I'm going to have him possibly looking maybe this direction, so his eyes are going to be different from his whatchamacallits, from his head. So here we go. So I've got my reference, and I'm looking at my reference, and I'm thinking, you know, Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln's a very, very interesting character. What we have of him are, you know, photographs, and of course things like this right here, which is the sculpted bust. I didn't realize this. Abraham Lincoln had a genetic disorder that caused him to have really gaunt. It was a gaunt. I forget the name of the disorder, but it was something that I had no idea he had. Very fascinating. Very long face too. Abraham Lincoln's face is long. You know, there's different shapes of faces. You have square faces, you have round faces, you have oval faces, you know, and then depending on if somebody's overweight, you can have a pear-shaped face. All these face shapes are in the world, you know, and here, let's do this. Go here, his ear. Okay, so here. Comes down. And again, I'm going back. I think somebody's here. Okay, so I've given the basic outline of what I think Abraham Lincoln's face is. I'm going to bring his... That was the FedEx man. FedEx man dropping me off some stuff. Okay, so whenever you draw something like this, you have to establish certain things before you can move on to other things. So if I've established the head size, I've established where things are. Obviously, one of the things that you probably need to always do first are the eye placement, the eye placement. So that being said, I didn't do that. And now I'm paying for it. So, okay, so his nose goes here, and then it goes out, and then it goes here, kind of round. And then he's got a tall nasal passage, comes up and around. And you really have to determine how caricaturized you want to make your drawing. This is going to be kind of a medium characterization. Okay, so he's got a really small upper lip. It comes around like this. Around like this. And then his bottom lip comes, it's kind of squared right here. Squared, and then it ends right here. Okay, and then let's do this. Okay, and then of course he's got his beard. Little fun thing, little fun note that you guys need to always remember whenever you're doing mouths. Let's say I'm doing a mouth facing this direction. One of the things you should, you know, remember is do this, go a little bit higher. This top lip is typically shaded. It has to do with the light because the light's hitting this, and this is always, it's always underneath. So it's a wraparound. So you'll see the top lip shaded. And you have these little highlights on the right here on this lip. And then you have a cast shadow here. So it gives you a better understanding. You know, you got to watch the corners of the mouth too, because you don't want to elongate these out, because you got that fat fold that comes around right here. It's like this, like that. So looking at this, look back at my reference. Gosh, come on, PC. Casio PC. I've got a couple PCs. I've got actually 3 PCs. Surface Pro 3, Surface Pro 2, and a Cintiq companion. And recently I've been utilizing them quite a bit, which I like. However, with all the Windows updates and stuff, I mean, I got the new Windows 10. If any guy's having problems with Windows 10, then you're not alone. I do like Windows 10. I like it much better than the other Windows, but it is a PC and there's going to be issues. So anyway, that was kind of a segue of uselessness, right? His hair. His hair is quite interesting. I don't really have a good reference shot of his hair. That's wrong. Okay, so he's got kind of a, comes out like this, comes out like this, and it's dark. What I'm trying to basically show you guys is the step-by-step process using the technique, the construction lines. And this is pretty standard fare. You know, we got that center line that comes around here. Come around here, and I got his collar that comes straight up. I can't have that. Gotta have that line following. And he's wearing a suit. Okay, so his beard comes out. His beard's kind of shaggy. It's very unkempt. You know, I know they didn't have your Schick razors and stuff back then, but you know, there's. And two, he's got this. It's like, I don't know what it's called, the technical term. Let's do this. Okay. And again, I'm thinking, here's that round. Remember that round surface? We're thinking 3-dimensionally. And I'd like to bring this down. Okay. And here's his beard. Comes around. And the thing, I tell this to my kids, because whenever they draw fur or hair or something, there's a lot of scribbling going on. Less is more, guys. Less is more. The less you do of the beard, like if I were to do hair a lot of times, you know, if I were to do like a real simple bear, you know, what I basically need to understand is if I sit there and draw everything, I'm going to have an issue. So we'll just give him, so, oh, going to do a little bit closer. There we go. Okay, so whenever I do his fur, I want to do, let me sharpen this really quick. So whenever I do his fur, I don't want to sit there and do this. This is obviously wrong. We don't want to do something like that. What I want to do is I want to give him just an indication of fur, and basically less is going to be more. You know, I don't remember what teacher told me this. And it's like the less you do, you don't want to do too much or draw every single strand of hair. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to do that. Give him a little smile. There we go. So whenever it comes to stuff like this, I like thinking less is more, less is more, less is more. Once again, my PC just quit on me. It's like the 4th time it's quit on me. or at least the photo app. So we're gonna go all the way back. See, this is why I was thinking about buying an iPad Pro. You know, okay, here we go. Abraham Lincoln, Mr. Lincoln. Okay, so here we go. His eyebrows are really cool. And you gotta have this thickness of the nose, so the eyebrow probably starts right there, and it comes around, okay, here. We're gonna color that in, okay? And his eyes are, I could do an entire, an entire video on eyes and the construction of eyes and how important it is to get the eyes right, because if you don't, the entire drawing is completely messed up. Getting the eyes correct, getting the eyes to where they make sense. There we go. He's got like these very thick eyebrows, and they get thicker as they get over here. And again, we're just doing some really light. And again, I've reestablished my line here to determine exactly where I need to put my eyes. And his eyes, you have to think too, his eyeballs are big. Your eyeballs are much bigger. If I were to draw a skull like I did before, I don't know where I put it. Anyway, you guys get the picture. So we're gonna go back to Mr. Bear, and we're gonna turn it over. So the eyeball, here's the eyeball in its glory. The iris, the pupil, okay? Pupil contracts, you know, depending on the amount of light. But the eyeball's big. Whenever it's in your eye socket, I mean, it's like this. You know, I mean, you got all these muscles around here. Maybe not that much. Yeah, not that much. There we go. So whenever you do something like this, you have to think that eyelid's going to actually wrap around the eyeball. Okay, he's going to give it really surprised. And you got this fat that comes down here. Okay. And eyelashes. Right? And see how it fits right in that eye socket? You know, and depending on what you do, you get the gist. So what I'm going to have to do whenever I do stuff like this is I got to think, you know, age. I got to think. One of the really cool things that you can do after you've drawn a long time is you can kind of see the rhythm and flow of the different aspects of the face. No. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit to kind of look at this eyeball. Okay. So we're going to draw it right here. Okay. And he's got these really deep set eyes because he had that gaunt. He's got this, comes around, and it's like a zone where the brow comes down like this, and it goes right under. He doesn't have a lot of fat right here. He's a very thin man, Abraham Lincoln was. And you got this shadow that comes, you know, right here, and it's round. You know, and it comes here, you know, and then I got this, goes here, and it comes under, and he's got this shadow that comes like right here, and he's got this little indentation right here. So we're going to come back, and we're going to come here. And one of the things you also learn whenever you draw a lot are the proportions of the face. The edge of the nose is right in line with the corner of the eye. So what I'm going to do is I got to sharpen my pencil a bit more. It's going to be a long video today. I did not anticipate on this being this long. I don't know how many minutes I am into it. Okay, so the corner of the nose matches up with the inner part of the eye. The corner of the mouth typically matches up right with the pupil, right with the center part of the eye whenever looking forward. So we're going to come here. And he's got this, he always looks like he's tired. Probably was. He's got this huge eyelid that comes out like that. We got right here, we'll draw iris, pupil. Okay, of course I made this one over here dark. We'll make that dark too. And he's got these bags, you know, bags that come down like that. So that's basically the premise. And two, whenever I'm looking at this, I'm thinking three-dimensionally. So here's the top of his nose. Here's the side that comes down. Here's the top. Here's the side. So I'm going to do a shadow right along the side here that basically goes down like that to kind of bring that nose out. And then he's got these right up here. The top part of his skull, since he's doesn't have a lot of weight on him, the top part of his skull is like this. So you've got these little slight shadows that are right here, right? And I can't, he doesn't really have a lot of brow tension. Me, I got tons of brow tension. You can look at me and be like, dang, that's a lot of brow tension, man. And then he's got, what does he have, side? Yeah, he's got some sideburns. So this is your basic, let me make sure his top lip, his mouth is a little wrong. I'll be honest with you, because it comes down like this. And that's one of the things too, you gotta admit to yourself sometimes and be like, you know what, dude, that's wrong. That is wrong. Let's see, it comes out like this, and he's got his fur. That's funny. His beard. I say it is a beard, mister. Here's his ear. He's got this really dark shadow right there. I'm gonna do that in really good. This is gonna come down. I'm gonna do this just so I can have it like that. It's adjustment. You guys, it's adjustment. How do I say this without insulting people? I think just for experiments, and I tell this to my students, you need to take your eraser, you need to take this eraser and either get a pencil that doesn't have an eraser or take off the eraser. People are so, you know, they're so worried about messing up, you know? So we need to draw, looks like he has a wild eye. Okay, so here, we'll do this and we'll do this and, okay. So you guys get the understanding and the gist of exactly the process in doing something like this. It is not out of the realm of possibility for anyone. I just think, yeah, he's got something that goes right here. Yeah, he's got like a, it comes up and it goes right into there. And he's got a shadow that comes here. Practice, observation. That's what it is. I mean, this is not rocket science, people. For some people it is, and I get it. I'm gonna get a little bit of hair. It's got a little bit of hair coming out back here. But if I can do it, come on, guys. If I can do it, you can do it too. Because I didn't start drawing seriously. I did not start drawing seriously until I was in 12th grade. Imagine if some of you who are in 9th, 10th, 11th grade, or even younger, imagine how incredible you'll be when you get older if you've been doing this that long. So this is a very short caricature of Abraham Lincoln. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. I'm going to put the rest on time lapse so you can watch me ink it. And we'll see you on the other side. Like and subscribe, guys, if you like what you see. Ooh, there we go. If you like what you see, obviously, you know, we want the channel to grow, but at the same time, I don't want it to be just, you know, I haven't made any money, by the way. Nobody, I've got probably over 200 videos. You know, I've had a lot of people ask me why my channel doesn't have more subscribers to it, and honestly, I don't know. You know, I put the keywords in. So anyway, you know, the placement on the page too is not quite centered. It's over there to the left, and you can adjust. I can adjust just a little bit here. Here's his ear. But anyway, I'm going to sit here and fiddle with it for the next 5 minutes. Like and subscribe, please, and hopefully on the next one you'll learn something. Again, thinking three-dimensionally, using the guide method to guide you where stuff goes on the page. Once you've established where things go, then you just basically start building. It's like I tell the kids, you can't climb a flight of stairs in one step. You have to take it one step at a time, because if you don't, you're gonna fall on your face. So one step at a time, and we'll see you next time. Thanks guys, bye.